Hi, everybody. Welcome to 10 Minutes in Tinseltown with Ms. Meliz. I'm Melissa Reyes, and tonight I have with me EJ Ford from Everything Blind, also known as Viper2883 on Twitter. Thank you so much for coming, EJ. How are you doing?
Oh, doing pretty good.
Excellent. Well, welcome to 10 Minutes in Tinseltown. I'm going to fix this one little thing. This is so cool. Technology is amazing. Thanks to this technology, we have a blind YouTuber, and you're able to do so much and actually know so much more about technology than I do. I have a lot I can learn from you, but I want to tell everybody that I met you on Meerkat, and then we've been DMing and Skyping for a while now and hoping to do an interview, but I really wanted to use Blab, and it took a little while until EJ could get up to speed with Blab, but he's here now, so we're really glad. So I'm a little applause. I'm going to give you some love. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, EJ?
Well, I was born totally blind. The doctors called it microthemia, which is my pupils didn't fully develop when I was born. They said the majority of it, the problem anyway, was that my eyes were actually glued shut. So they had to physically pry my eyes open and try to save at least the eye, because when usually babies are born, their eyes are open. Mine were closed. So I didn't get the, how would you say, the light perception or the glimpse of light, basically. I was not really, how can you say the word? I forgot actually how my doctor said it, but I wasn't able to get a glimpse of the light when I was first born. They said it, but it took him about an hour. So I lost basically an hour of growth of my pupils. So that kind of hindered me on my sight. So my sight started real late. And since, as going up, your pupils usually gets fully developed at a certain age, and they were able to take in light and colors and shapes or whatever. Mine didn't. So I was technically just born blind, really. That's how my doctor told me last time I talked to him.
The last time you talked to him. What was that? Well, since as soon as you could remember, as far back as you can remember, you've never been able to see anything. Can you see color or shadows or anything, or is it just no?
I see some light and shadow and some colors, depending on how bright it is outside. If it's like blinding bright outside, then maybe it depends on what colors I'm looking at. Yellows look like white to me. White looks like yellows. If it's a dark blue, I may be thinking it's black, and it could be dark blue.
How do you even determine the colors? How do you even determine?
Well, I was able to actually see enough out of one eye. They were able to save one eye enough to be able to. I was able to read perfect print, like the regular normal print. Okay. When I was like, say 7 to about 10. And then after that, my vision started to decrease. So I started going, using a CCTV, which is closed circuit TV. Okay. And I was able to read print from there. And then after a while, after having to blow up the letters bigger, where there was only one letter on the screen, I was like, okay, this ain't gonna work anymore. They got to find something better for me to do, because this is gonna take me forever to read one word if I'm reading just one letter at a time. So they got me into reading Braille between it's like 9 and 11. But I started kind of playing around with Braille when I was like 5. When I could see enough to read print, but I was actually just kind of, ooh, this is pretty cool. The Braille's pretty neat. I started to learn on my own from like the plain alphabets. But when like doing sentences or paragraphs or books or whatever, no, I didn't start that until like I was about 10, about almost 11 when I was actually really, really good with Braille. And since then, basically, I use Braille.
I think that's Braille, I think is cool. How do I explain? Like, not, I mean, I'm sure it's better to be able to see, but I think that just the fact that you can have Braille, does that make sense? Like, not to minimize it or anything, but I've always been fascinated with it from when I was a child. And I had one of my very first friends was blind when I was maybe kindergarten, first grade. And I remember this boy, and I think the teacher asked me to sit with him, and, I would lead him around and we talk, and he was really great. His name was Rusty. He had red hair. I wonder whatever happened to Rusty. So he had his books in Braille. And so I would feel them and try to see if I could tell, anything from them. And like, could not at all. Just naturally, you can't just touch it and feel. Yeah, but it's remarkable. And then, of course, inspired by Helen Keller and that story and stuff as a young girl. So, I'm every so often there'll be times when I meet someone who's blind, but it's been a really long time until this past few months with Blab and Meerkat. It's really remarkable to make new friends who have all different ways of doing the same things that I do. And so I appreciate you taking the time to tell us, what you can see and what you can't see, and what, how you've made it work. And one thing I noticed watching your video, you did a video montage from, I'm not sure if you just how you edited that or what you did, but it's really good. And it was from your trip to Jamaica.
Yeah, I just put, several videos that I've done, during the whole entire week we were there. And I don't know any, like, one thing about editing. I just, there's a video that's a little longer. I'll usually trim it, and then I'll make it as a new clip, and then I'll add it into I use YouTube Capture, but usually the iPhone 6 has the iMovie on it, but it's not accessible. Okay. I'm actually talking with Apple now, with Apple developers, to try to get a hold of the developers and see if they could figure out a way to make it more accessible, yet let it, keep all the buttons the way they are, but with voiceover, it'll have, create a movie or create a trailer, and then it'll go from there directly into your video clips or your pictures, and you can just add in just like that. But no answer from them and no reply. I haven't heard much about it lately from them. I've sent them a email, and I told them, I was like, this is what needs to be accessible. This is what needs to be accessible. If you can make these two things work, I believe any blind person will be able to use iMovie, and they don't have to rely on someone else doing their editing. Like a friend of mine in Florida, when I went down there in June, I hung down there with them for a week. I've done, a video down there, but he did the editing. He can see. Right. So he was able to kind of blend in the videos, fade out, fade in, add music, all that stuff.
Well, EJ, you don't have to do it all yourself. A lot of people get help with editing and video help, not, but you want to do it, right? You want it to work.
I want to do it so, that I at least have a sense of, how would you say, a sense of clarity that things actually can be done. And if the blind person never asks someone that really doesn't know anything about blind people, iMovie is not made for blind people. I can tell you that now, because I just get the app when I had the iPhone 5C,
Mm-hmm.
And I just tinker around with it. I'm like, okay, there's got to be a way to make this thing accessible. So then I figured they had that on the iPhone 6. And I was like, cool, they finally fixed it. So I looked on there, still didn't fix it. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I'm going to email and tell them, you guys need to get this fixed. If not, that's fine. It's no big deal. I mean, I don't use a lot of the sound effects, or I don't use a lot of the graphics and the kind of the icons and stuff they have on there. I usually just use YouTube Capture,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and that's basically my editing go-to editing anyway, where I can link all my videos together, add music in the background, and boom, I'm done.
I think it's incredible. I really do. I appreciate that you're trying to do it yourself, and I'm doing the same thing. It's not. I have challenges that are different, maybe because my knowledge base is different, but I'm still trying to figure out, all this technology and be able to do what I want to do and do it by myself and understand it and know where to go to and know what to ask and have it done. And you're doing all of this as well, and lots of people are. But the reason that's different is that these apps and these things aren't made with someone in mind who has blindness, who's blind. So just, enlighten us, because even if I close my eyes and think, how am I going to take this video if I'm anywhere, much less Jamaica, someplace you've never been before and you haven't ever seen before, and you're taking these pictures and you're saying in the video, I'm not sure if you can see this, or you might be looking at a wall right now. It's awesome that you say that. But in truth, what you're showing is beautiful. It's amazing. And you seem to be able to tell, like you were able to tell when Betty was in the water and a wave came. How were you able to tell that?
Oh, well, just where I was
Did you
standing,
feel the wave?
she
Because you were
might have.
pretty far from her.
No, I was actually up on the beach, and I didn't. I was getting ready to go out into the Caribbean Sea, because out there in Jamaica, their Caribbean Sea, I mean, it's just remarkable. And I figured, well, Betty went out there before I did, and
Uh-huh.
I was like, you know what? I'm gonna let her go out there first. If she gets swept down the beach, I'll be able to go get her if something happens.
Oh.
But she went out there, and I kind of stood there, and I was like, okay, this is actually Caribbean Sea. There's probably sea urchins. There's probably sharks. There's probably something out there that's gonna pop up out of nowhere. And I usually don't go to beaches and
Right.
get in the water due to all the shark attacks lately. But she went out there, and she was out there a little bit of ways out there in the water, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I was like, well,
I mean, it was like
splash, do
maybe 20,
something.
25, 30 feet away. It wasn't like just, you couldn't reach out and touch her. She was that far away. But you were able to get her in the
Yeah,
frame. You got a great video. You talked about the waves. The ocean looked amazing. It was really, really clear, like a swimming pool, and just beautiful. And I want to go see it again, but it was so amazing. Everybody should go see it. It's on my website at msmeliz.com. I embedded it there. He still gets the count if you or watch it, because it's straight from YouTube, or you can go to YouTube and find him on Everything Blind. Um, AJ, why do you like to do videos? How did it all get started? Oh wait, before you answer that question, think about that. I'm
okay.
gonna acknowledge the people in the room. Take a little break,
Okay.
a quick little
Okay.
break, because I've got some new people, and I want to say hello to Ernest Ramirez. I'm gonna follow you here, and DC Carry 212. I'm following you, and Rebel Heart is here. Thank you so much for coming on Meerkat and watching my interview with EJ, Viper 2883, Everything Blind. And I wanted to give an answer to Ernest. He asked if he can cameo. And you know what? Normally on my streams, I don't even know if he's still here, but I would do cameos. But this is an interview with EJ, and I'm just restreaming it from Blab. So we're not going to be doing cameos on this particular stream. So thank you for asking, though, and thank you so much for being here. And Mr. Rideshare came over, and Ramon came over to the Blab. So EJ, they're in the room, and the few people have been, about 10 people have been in and out. 170 people have been in and out over on Meerkat, which is pretty good, and 28 are here now. The only ones that I can see that I know are Tammy and David Pullman. Thank you so much, David, for being here. So my question to you was, how did you get interested in doing video to begin with?
It was just kind of a last minute kind of thing. I mean, I hung out with a friend, and he did a lot of videos for, for skating, because he's he's really good with speed skating, and he does a lot of videos. I used to skate with him, and he would do recordings while he's skating to his coach.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what are you doing those videos for? He's like, well, one, my coach, and then two, for YouTube. I'm like, oh, YouTube. And he's like, yeah, you can post anything you want up on your on YouTube. It's like, all you have to do is have a channel and have, and then you can basically just go up from there.
Right.
And I was like, oh, okay. Then, where was that? Yeah, I think I was no, I wasn't in Florida. I was in Kansas. After we moved, because we went to work up there in Wichita. Mm-hmm. And I asked my wife, I was like, could you figure out or help me out make a YouTube channel? She's like, for what? I was like, well, I want to start doing videos of my life, things I can do, and and a whole bunch of things. And she's like, well, I'll help you, but I don't know how people are going to react to it. And I'm like, well, I guess we'll have to find out. And the name that I have for my, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, what was the initial reaction? But you finished with what your name was. That's interesting.
Well, the name of the channel she thought of was and which I can't change on Twitter. Google Plus won't let me. I've tried and tried and tried. They won't let me do it now, so I'm stuck with the name now. But the channel name is going to be what it is. There's just my URL that goes to my channel won't change.
Mm-hmm,
so,
mm-hmm.
But she thought of a name of 1983 Guitar Hero, because I used to play Guitar Hero. I used to play Rock Band. Now, totally blind person playing Rock Band, and actually beating a friend that can see playing Rock Band.
Right? How do you do that? Don't you follow along on the screen?
You mostly have to when you're playing Rock Band or Guitar Hero, because they go by colors. With me, I would just press, I would go on easy, and usually some of the easy ones are only 3 buttons. Then they go to 4 buttons and 5 buttons. So I was like, put me on 4 buttons, on 4 colors, and then I'll just practice, because he was going to go get some dinner, because I stayed at his house during the weekend because I was working with him. And he was gone for about an hour, because he had to go drop off some paperwork to his dad and then come back. And he came back in. I was like, dude, you're not going to believe this. He's like, what? And I was like, you need to sit down for this. He's like, what did you do? I was like, don't worry. I didn't break your TV or anything. Just, sit down and listen. And I played, let me think, what's 2 songs I played? I got to think about it. One song was by Coheed and Cambria, which is like a rock song. And I did it on 4 colors, which I guess it's medium. And he sat there, he's like, how did you do that? I was like, you told me how to stop and basically start over from the very beginning. I just did it like 4 times, and now I figured out the song within an hour.
Wow.
And he's
okay.
like, there's no free. Yeah. So basically, I will listen to a bunch. If I listen to a song and I want to learn it, I'll listen to it maybe. Well, at that time, 3 or 4 times. Now, if I listen to a song, I've got it basically the first time.
Wow. And that's
I'm
on
able.
any instrument, or I know you play guitar also. So Guitar Hero is different because it's the buttons, but are
Yeah,
you
I
able to do
play.
that?
Yeah, I've gotten pretty good on a lot of songs actually on my electric. But my acoustic, mostly I do a lot of the acoustic covers, which are pretty
Mm-hmm.
much, they teach you how to play their songs anyway.
Uh-huh.
But
Uh-huh.
there's some songs out here playing on Pandora, and I'll run into my room here, which is the music room, which I call it, or the YouTube room,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll get my acoustic, which my acoustic is sitting right here next to me, and I'll just play the song once and see how the chords go, and then I'll just kind of play one string of my guitar and find out what chord they're in, and if I need to raise the tone up or drop it down, and then
So I have to answer some questions that are going on the side here. Ramon asked, how do you get around every day, just moving around? So, like, some people who don't know as active a blind person as you are, EJ, will be surprised to find how you're able to do so many things. So we're talking about the remarkable, extraordinary things that you do that not even the normal people who can see and have practiced for a long time, it takes them an extra effort. So what you're doing is extraordinary for anybody. You're able to listen to a song once and then play it on your guitar, or play Guitar Hero, which is designed for a sighted person, and that's a game that you have to watch or you would think you'd have to watch, but you figured out a way to do it. And then you record yourself playing on these cover songs on your drum machine, while you play along, and then you're also video, and then taking it another step and posting that video on YouTube. So yeah, the guy can get
a
around.
jack of all trades.
Once you do all of that, he works at a company, and he is married, and he and his wife just got back from a trip recently got back from a trip to Jamaica, celebrating their 7th wedding anniversary. Congratulations,
Yep.
by the way. And he
Thank
was
you.
able
Thank you.
to take some of the videos that he made on his vacation, put them together, and produce a really nice montage that is on YouTube as well. And so you started a vlog where sometimes you don't do the music, you just talk. And what
Yeah.
was that like? you
Well,
know
when I first, when I got done usually, doing all my music, the drum covers and the product reviews and stuff like that, I was like, okay, there's got to be something else I can do on my channel, because doing drum covers, I've got to be careful, because there's some artists out there, or their record labels likes to be a pain sometimes, and put you down for copyright, even though the fact that all the drum covers I do don't sound like the real song, because I usually add in something to mix it up a little bit to make it sound
Yeah.
more to me. Like with a lot of Jamaican stuff, there's no acoustic drums in Jamaican songs.
Right.
It's mostly electronic, or
Um,
more of a was it Latino kind of beats. I was putting, some fast beats and some drum rolls in there that you would never see in a Jamaican song. And
mm,
I have 3 Jamaican artists actually subscribed to my YouTube channel that I've actually done music for. I've got Gappy Ranks, which is a big name Jamaican artist down in London.
mhm, mhm.
I've got Movado, which is I think he's in Kingston now, and DJ Treasure, which he's a DJ out of Spanish Town, Jamaica. We were trying to plan out to meet him down in Jamaica when we went down there, but he went, I guess, from Ocho Rios to Spanish Town. It's all the way across Jamaica.
Mm.
So he wouldn't have made it over in time to see us. So I told him next year we're going back in October next year. And I was
Oh,
like,
that's great.
you gotta get away over there. We gotta meet you
Well,
because he wants to do some
hold
music
that
together
thought for
too.
1 second. That sounds really cool. I just want to thank Katie Sunshine for coming in on Blab and Salad Gravy. Thank you so much for joining us. And Jesse, um, let's see. And over on Meerkat, I've been meaning to acknowledge footballers and um, let's see, Jose. And also, I saw Joe in here, and Jose just popped over into Blab. So you had two places at once. NASCAR Inc., Joe Hart. So Joe was going to help me out with. We talked about briefly about him helping me out with co-hosting, and if he wants to get on Blab and pop in, he can help me with the comments or do it on Meerkat because I can't answer the comments and see the questions coming up as I'm paying attention to EJ. So if you'd like to help me with that, Joe, and if you're there, that would be great. If not, just keep going, keep on trucking. So speaking of trucking, how do you get around? Do you use public transportation or do you use Uber? How do you get
I
to
use
work
Uber.
and shopping and all that? Since you and your wife are both
Um,
blind, right?
yeah, we're
Is
both
Betty's
totally
blind
blind.
too?
Well,
Okay.
she's total. I'm more of a well, they base me as a total, but I get around like a partial.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, she went totally blind at 16, I think, 16, 17.
Oh my gosh. Was she
So
partially blind
she
before?
yeah, she was partial. She could
Mm-hmm.
see, good enough to get around without a cane and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And uh I guess her retina detached in her eye, so they were trying to get it,
Mm.
fixed and try to save it. And she said the last thing that she ever saw was a needle go into her eye, and that was it.
Oh my God. Well.
So, but her mother told her, like for the 4th of July, she did a video of the fireworks and all, and I guess her mother told her that one day you're gonna see fireworks one day. She saw fireworks in Jamaica.
She
So
was
she
able to
saw the
see them?
fireworks. Oh yes, she was able to see them.
Ah, that's
So she's
great.
like, well, that made her day.
That's great. Oh, she looks so happy. You tell me, how did you decide on going to Sandals? Because you said that you were the first blind couple to go to Sandals Resort in Jamaica. Did How did they find out about you and you find out about them? And tell me that.
Well, our travel
Realized.
agent, which I'm going to give her a plug here,
Good.
um, is really, really, really awesome. We were just kind of one day just thinking about, okay, we got to go on a honeymoon or a vacation away from everybody, away from the U.S. and just have fun.
Uh-huh.
And I was looking around on YouTube and we were like, Jamaica sounds so much fun. I wish we can go to Jamaica. And sure enough, the video I put on YouTube, she commented on, and then I
Mm-hmm.
commented back on one of her videos and told her, that sounds like a really cool place. Could you actually spare a little time to talk to us about it? We're really interested.
Mm-hmm.
We want to get away. We have an anniversary coming up, and we really want to do something really, face it, something that we've never done.
Mm-hmm.
And she wrote back like, what was it, like in 30 minutes? She's like, well, check your email. So we were writing back and forth on emails, and then I called her, and I mean, she's just a remarkable person. I mean, it's just
What is
like,
her name?
for
What is her name, EJ?
well, she goes by Margie Jordan, but
Okay.
her company is let me say this right. Um, Jordan's Executive Travel.
Okay.
That's her website, her company. She's actually the owner of the company for that.
Okay.
And
So
I
she
mean,
was
she
able to get
does.
did
Go
she
ahead.
coordinate? Sorry, did she coordinate the trip for you? And did they know that you and Betty were coming? And how did it work
Hmm.
out? Like, just as far as being blind, that part about it. Like, they, I'm sure they treat all of their guests and their anniversaries and special occasions, really well. That's part of their hospitality. But, because you were blind, you had probably had a guide or something, or somebody, a concierge or someone to help you.
Well, we were looking into getting, just going down there. And then my wife thought, okay, well, if we're going to go down there, we're going to do it in style. We're going to go have a butler. So
Oh,
we had not one but two butlers that kind of they swing shifts. They do 6 hours here, 6 hours there, or whatever.
uh-huh.
And we basically they were at our disposal the whole entire week we were there,
Okay.
and they were able to get us to like the beach club, down to the Caribbean Sea, to the restaurants, anywhere we wanted to go or
Uh-huh.
anything we wanted from them, they would bring it to us
Uh-huh.
or take us to it. So we didn't have to really worry about too much of anything. And I mean, that everybody down there was just like, we are so glad to have you here, and you guys, I don't know if anybody told you, but you guys are the very first blind couple we've had at this resort ever.
Yeah. Ever. That's
So
that.
and
And
I'm like
yeah.
that's
Really?
just remarkable.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they've had other blind guests, but to have two people together traveling as a cut and you're a couple and it was your anniversary, it was really special. And I know that they treated you well. You could tell by the video, and you shared a very, intimate romantic moment when they brought you back to your room and had the bed was covered with flowers and they had drawn a bath for you two. And I was like, wow, you didn't videotape the wall there. You got everything in. It looked great. It looked like so much fun. And that's why I like to watch videos on and blogs and read blogs and look at pictures of other people's experience, their true experiences. And you did a great job of showing that. So I wanted to thank you for that, and just
Yeah,
for
no
taking the
problem.
effort. Not, I mean, a lot of people wish they did that when they're on vacation, but and then, or they don't, whatever. But you did it, and it was great. I'm really excited. It was really great. I want to watch it again. So, does anybody at Meerkat or Blab have a question for EJ, or a comment or a question for me? Please type it into the comments, and I'm take a moment and say hi to Betsy Boop. Betsy and Joe came in and couldn't get into Blab. I guess a lot of people are having problems with Blab tonight. And I think it could be because they were on Mashable. They were the app on Mashable, on Snapchat, Mashable thing. So maybe more people are here. I don't know.
Yeah, I saw that
Let's see.
earlier.
Yeah, and Sean is here, and Brian Arnold is here. And thank you so much for liking and restreaming everybody and saying hello to each other. I hope you enjoy this interview. If you have a question for EJ, let me know. And it's now 6:46, so we've got about 10 minutes to go. So let's see. We talked about YouTube. We talked about Jamaica. We talked about Guitar Hero and playing the guitar. What else do you want to tell me about? Do you have anything coming up that you'd like to talk about?
As of right now, there's not very much going on with YouTube at the moment. There probably will be. There's gonna be more stuff going up there. I would say probably Thursday. More just like me random guitar covers, just stuff that I made up. That's probably the only thing I'll probably be putting up there right then. But
Have you given it any more thought? One time we talked about you maybe doing a video at work and checking with the people at work and seeing if you can show us what it's like for you when you go to work. Have you thought about that anymore?
well, I've talked to the big guy, the president of the company, And because I had to go up the chain of command, they said to go directly to him because he makes the
Mm-hmm.
final decisions on anything that goes on in that company.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him, this is just something educational for people that wants to know exactly what I do that's on my YouTube channel that may not actually know anything about this company. And he's
Mm-hmm.
like, well, due to issues we've had in the past that has either had what's the word he's had for hostile. It made the job very hostile in work environment because I guess somebody did a video and posted up on Facebook or Twitter or something, and someone
Mm-hmm.
saw it, and it didn't turn out very well for them. I was at work one day,
Mm-hmm.
and they told us, well, if you go outside, make sure the doors are stayed shut, make sure that no one's coming behind you when you come in. And I asked, like, why? And they're like, well, someone did a video in here and got it out on social media, and now the husband is coming after the wife.
Oh, yeah. So
So,
see, they were
yeah,
exposed
stuff
on
like that.
video. Hmm.
Yeah, and things like that. I
You
don't
have to be careful.
if that never happened, I don't think he would even care. But since that's happened, well, actually, it's happened once this year and like twice last year.
Wow.
And
Well, tell
yeah,
us about your
it's
job
just
then.
crazy people.
Yeah, tell us about your job then. I know you told me a little bit, but tell me, what do you do? And you don't have to name the company, but what is it like there?
Well, there's a
Is it
lot of
full?
blind people.
There's a lot of blind people work there. Is it full time? Do you work full time, 40 hours a week or part time?
I work 40 hours. I work three
Mhm.
12-hour shifts, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Oh, wow. And what do you
And
do?
I'm off Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Thank God. That will get you tired in 12 hours doing it three
Yeah, I'd
days in a
say.
row.
I'd say.
But
What?
we make all the uniforms for the military, Navy, Coast Guard, Army, Marines.
Um,
Um, what are, two different types of Army combat shirts. We make coveralls, green and blue, and fire retardant for the prisons. And well, the prisons make actually sews them to keep them busy. We cut it
uh-huh.
here and ship them to the federal prisons. They do that, and then they ship them off to like some of them go to military bases. Some of them you can find them in like the military stores. If there's it like if
Hmm.
anybody lives in a military town, you can probably find them there. Um, we
And
make
what do you
army kit
do?
back.
So what do you
Huh?
do? Do you work on an assembly line or do you
I
pack things?
actually
What do you do?
pack the materials that comes off the machines,
Very cool.
and the machines actually are digital, so everything basically is cut to exactly the piece that they need. Like if it's a
Uh,
shirt, it basically makes like this part of the shirt all here, the sleeves, the collars. It cuts out every single piece that goes on that shirt
uh,
individually, and then they will sew them together how they what the design is of that shirt.
how long have you been working there?
It is 4.5 years. It'll be
Do you
five
like it?
years It's a good job. I mean, it's tough work. I mean, it's very very dirty job, but someone's got to do it, so why not me? But I
Yeah.
like my job. I like my job a lot, but there's a lot more that I want to do. And I love doing this stuff for the military. I mean, I've we met a couple people down in Jamaica, a husband and a wife that just got back right before we did, or before we got there. They got to Jamaica,
Hmm.
and they were can't remember what the date. It was July 15th.
Hmm.
And then, we got down to Jamaica before they did. We got down to July 31st. They got down on the 1st.
Okay.
And I first of August, and we, they asked us about, our blindness and where do we work and all that. And the husband and wife's like, "Are you guys the ones that makes the Army combat shirts and the uniforms?" I'm like, "Yeah,
Uh,
we make those." And they're like, "Dude, we love you. Thank you for what you do." I was like, "No, thank you for what you do. We just make them
yeah.
for you. You guys have to wear them."
Well, I think that's a really neat, that's a great story. I have a few questions for you here. Let's see. The first question is from Ramon, and he asks, is family support, do you have family support to help you physically with your blindness? I think it's hard for us to imagine how you can get around by yourself, but what do you do? Do you have someone to help you or family that helps you?
Uh, no, no family. All my
Yeah.
family are down in Florida or back up north or in Georgia or wherever they may be. But no, I don't have no family here in North Carolina whatsoever.
So,
And it's just me and my wife.
does Betty work the same days as you?
Yeah.
So you get up together and you go to work together and you
Come home
do you
together.
take the bus or walk or what? Yeah, you better come home together.
Our
Don't leave her.
our
Don't forget
our
about her.
our lead guy, that opens up the plant and close up the plant at the end of the day. He comes to get us in the morning because he gets
Oh,
there
okay.
early, so he gives us enough time to get ourselves prepared in the morning, get our materials ready for packing, and kind of sit down and relax before everybody gets there. Have a cup of coffee, get a
Right.
good, a second win before we get in there. Kind of get all
Yeah.
rested up and woken up, because at 5 o'clock in the morning, it's like it's hard to wake up at 5. I'm usually waking up
Don't get me
later, like
started.
5, like
I
5,
know.
usually 5:30. I'm usually waking up, but
I've been
since
trying
he
to get up
goes in
early to
early,
listen to Lydia. It's so hard. But so then you get a ride home and you guys cook dinner and you just have your life is just like everybody else's. You get on Blab, right? And then or
yeah,
Meerkat and you do your videos and play your music and take trips to Jamaica. And it's remarkable. It really is. You do so much and share so much in your life, and I wanted to thank you. I only have a couple minutes left, but one more question. And I think this is a great idea. Will you be right? This is from Tammy on Meerkat. Will you be writing a book on your experiences in life from your perspective? Have you ever thought of that?
hmm. No, I haven't really thought about much of writing a book. I'm not much of a writer. I've tried when I was younger to write kind of a book of my life, but I
Mm-hmm.
never got past the second page.
Well,
It's like the video tells it 10 times as much more than a book can. And since I'm good with doing videos and pictures, I'm like, I can just do that and just basically vlog my life. Because there's a lot of
yeah.
YouTubers, and there's a guy out here on YouTube, and I mean, definitely check him out. I mean, he's done vlogs. I mean, every single day of his life, except Saturdays and Sundays. Maybe sometimes Saturdays, sometimes Sundays. This depends on how he feels. He
Right.
does his whole entire life every single day on vlogging, and that's what he's kind of talked me into doing a lot of the vlogs, because I'm like, well, people don't know what's going on from here to Australia. They'd never
Right.
seen what was going on from there to Australia, so why not put a video and
Yeah.
they can see what I do
Well,
every day.
I want to say that you do have a great story. You're a wonderful storyteller. You could have somebody, or you can use an app to transcribe your stories from video to book, and it would make a great book. But I encourage everybody to go and see YouTube channel. It's just type in Everything Blind or go to my website, msmeliz.com, and you can find the links and visit EJ and subscribe to his channel. So while you're there, subscribe to 10 Minutes in Tinseltown. And thank you so much for being here. I need to wrap it up. Thank you. You are such a superstar, EJ. We'll do this again. I enjoy talking to you always. Congratulations on your wonderful videos, and thank you again. Thank you for being here.
All right, thank you. Definitely, guys. Before we go, definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm trying to get a good amount of people, so you guys need your help.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night, EJ. I'm going to close out this blab, and we're going to go over to another blab, and I'm going to be interviewing Jeannie Davis. She's a novelist and a blogger. So help me out. Come over there and follow me over to the other blab. Thank you. Good night, EJ. Talk to you later.
Later.
Take it easy. Bye-bye. Good night.